Yeah, I wanna live my lifestyle. Never seen a break, never seen a. Yo. Yo. What up, people? What up? What's going on? What is going on? This is your boy, the one and only DJ Troy. What's poppin'? Hope everybody good. Hope everybody chilling. Hope everybody's alright. So, I ain't gonna keep y'all too long. I'm out here in Brooklyn, you know what I'm saying? Home of the brave, you know what I mean? That's what it is. Salute to Ja Rule, salute to Fat Joe on an excellent Verzuz match yesterday. The funny thing is this, yo, Verzuz has been going on for a minute, and I honestly have not sat down and watched out most of them. Like literally, I watch this Verzuz with Ja Rule and Fat Joe from top to bottom, beginning to the end. You know what I'm saying? I did that with Beanie Man and Bounty Killer too. So, you know, this Verzuz was really good, man. And hopefully one of these days, you know, I'm gonna get a chance to watch the rest. But this Verzuz is really, really good because I think that with the beef in the music industry between Ja Rule and 50 Cent, it really, the narrative that Ja Rule is a clown in these streets spread, okay, and the narrative of the Fire Festival spread. So on a real level, okay, you know what I'm saying, the streets stop messing with Ja Rule. You know what I mean? It's not that Ja Rule got soft, you know what I'm saying? It's just that the information out there, boy, is crazy. And you know, when you see people go crazy about their image and all of that stuff, you know what I'm saying? They you know, they really take it seriously because, you know, the narrative can be spread about you and destroy your image. And I think because of the narrative that's been spreading about Ja Rule over the years, you know what I'm saying, if the streets stop really looking at him on the level that he really is on. You know what I'm saying? Vice versa, Fat Joe stay like from the time Fat Joe came out, Fat Joe has been taking the W's, boy. Not to say that Fat Joe hasn't had personal problems, you know what I'm saying? But regardless of what been happening out here in these streets, okay, you know what I'm saying, the streets has never looked at Fat Joe as a clown. Never. You know what I'm saying? They never. The streets has never looked at Fat Joe as a clown. You know what I'm saying? The streets has always looked at Fat Joe as this cat that, listen, you ain't messing with Fat Joe. You know what I mean? He's kept it 1,000. He's kept it real from beginning to end. You know what I'm saying? So nobody, you know what I'm saying, is messing with Fat Joe in these streets. Not to say that people are afraid of him, but you know what I mean? If you got a problem, you're gonna think twice about stepping to Fat Joe. So I think with that, you know what I mean, you know, with how these two artists came in looking from the streets, you know what I'm saying, people believe that Fat Joe was gonna win this Verzuz. You know what I mean? And the truth is, from what I could see, because I watch it from top to end, you know what I mean? And I'm a DJ, and not to say that I know everything about music and every single song that came out, you know what I'm saying? But for the last, you know, for the last 20 years, you know what I mean, Ja Rule and Fat Joe, you know what I'm saying, their music has been on heavy rotation. So I know what's up. You know what I mean? I've been spinning their tracks for years. You know what I mean? I've been listening to Fat Joe for years. Been listening to Ja Rule for years. So, you know what I mean? It was, the truth of the matter is that Fat Joe came through heavy. He came through with some hits that even me, myself, as a DJ, you know what I'm saying, didn't know. And, you know what I mean, some hits I forgot. You know what I mean? But some it's like, yo, this is the truth. Now, on the flip side of that, you know what I'm saying, I forgot about Ja Rule's hits. You know what I'm saying? Because like I told you, the narrative that's been spreading about Ja Rule over the years, you know what I'm saying, got him looking kind of funny in these streets. You know what I mean? The beef with 50 Cent and all, then the Fire Festival happened. So the streets the streets stopped looking to Ja Rule like that. You know what I mean? I'm not gonna lie to you. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna lie to you. This is not, and this is nothing personal with Ja Rule. It's just that, you know, whatever narrative is out here in these streets, it affected his credibility. Didn't mean that Ja Rule got soft. Didn't mean that Ja Rule don't have a group of people that really mess with him hard body. You know what I'm saying? It's just that what the streets was saying. You know what I mean? And the streets really wasn't really rocking with Ja Rule hard for a minute. So, as a result of that, like I said earlier, people believe that Fat Joe was gonna win, and Fat Joe did win, based on my opinion. You know what I'm saying? And my opinion had nothing to do with whatever people are saying in terms of the, you know, what Ja Rule did in his personal life and whatever beef he had or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, I don't know none of these cats. At the end of the day, you know what I'm saying, I play for the fans. You know what I mean? So I have nothing personal in this situation. You know what I'm saying? And I don't think I want to have anything personal in this situation, because, you know what I mean, you got to remember that these cats are real G's. Okay? Despite what y'all read on the internet about Ja Rule and all that stuff, thorough cats. Those cats are thorough. Alright? It's not people that you want to be out here messing with. You know what I'm saying? Same thing with, you know what I'm saying, Fat Joe. Not people again. You know what I'm saying? You heard about Goon Squad. Fat Joe, you do not, I repeat, okay, I repeat, you do not want any problems. Okay? I don't care about how Fat Joe be out here. I'm a nice guy. Yesterday's price is not today's price, and you know what I'm saying, showing mad love to everybody. You don't want any problems with Fat Joe, bro. Nope. No, you do not. Okay? Nah. You understand? Because it's a problem. Alright? I'm just, you know what I'm saying? For those cats who know, no. You just don't want it, right? So, with all that said, you know what I mean, I'm just trying to let y'all know that my opinion is not anything personal. It's just from a musical standpoint. You know what I mean? And from a musical standpoint, Ja Rule had solid hits. You know what I'm saying? Smashes and big tunes, as they would say. You know what I mean? Same thing with Fat Joe. Fat Joe said that Lean Back was on the charts for 47 weeks out of the year. And you know there's 52 weeks. Oh my God. That's a hit, boy. You know what I mean? And the same thing with Ja Rule. Hits after hits after hits. So it was a good battle where these guys was just playing their catalog, and you know what I mean? They did good. You know what I mean? What some of the highlights for me was this. I love to see this shorty Vita. I don't know if you guys remember her. but she came out. Little Mo was there. She came out, did her thing. But the highlights, 2 highlights for me. You know what I'm saying? There was a lot of highlights, but the highlights for me was Ashanti, boy. Oh my God. I'm like, goddamn. Ashanti is a legend, period. Okay? I don't know how come she never got a kid, how come she didn't get married and all that stuff, and you know what I mean? I ain't getting involved in none of that personal stuff. But from a musical perspective, like Ashanti worked with Ja Rule and they got smashes, boy. So when she came out for Ja Rule, I was like, yo, this is the truth, boy. And then after that, she went over and she did a thing with Fat Joe. And I'm like, God damn. Then after she was done with Fat Joe, I'm like, yo, she went back with Ja Rule hits. I'm like, yo, this is love. This is love. And then the craziest thing is that Nelly came out at one point in time before Ashanti, and then it hit me that, yo, they used to date or whatnot. You know what I'm saying? At the end, Nelly went over and showed Ashanti love. It was all love. You know what I mean? And Fat Joe and Ja Rule, they hugged it out, and you know, it was all love. It wasn't on some beefing thing. You know what I mean? It was just, you know, it was love and hits after hits. And it was good. You know what I mean? The thing that plagued Ja Rule is that really and truly in the last, you would say almost 15 years or something like that, Ja Rule has been missing. You know what I mean? Ja Rule had some big smashes, you know, early in the 2000s, but in the last couple of years, he's been missing. Whilst Fat Joe now has always been here. Joe Crack has never left. You know what I'm saying? And it's not to say that Ja Rule hasn't been making music. It's just that, you know what I mean? It hasn't been hitting. The streets hasn't been paying attention like that. And, you know, like I said, the beef with 50 Cent, whether or not Ja Rule wants to acknowledge it, whether or not, you know, the people around him want to acknowledge it, it really affected his career in a negative way. Whether or not they want to acknowledge it, because the problem is that the 50 Cent and Ja Rule beef, I think what happened is that people looked at it as like, you know what, I don't think I want anything to do with these guys, right? Not because they hate them personally, but because of the seriousness of that beef. Okay, don't forget, you know what I'm saying? 50 Cent, I think they said I think it was 9 times he got shot. It was, you know what I'm saying? And then the person who shot 50 Cent, he died too. So it was real. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't something that you want to play with. It wasn't a game. It was not a game. And up to this day, even though it's been a long time, there's still tension in the air. You know what I'm saying? So as a result of that, they're like, you know, the people, I believe, say like, you know what, King, since this cat 50 Cent is hitting, let's roll with 50 Cent and leave Ja Rule and, you know, the trappings of Murder Inc. and all that stuff that was happening alone. Because the streets realized that this stuff was serious. You know what I mean? So I think it's not necessarily that Ja Rule pen game got weak over the last couple of years. It's not that. You know what I mean? You cannot take away musical genius. You cannot, like, it just doesn't disappear. You know what I mean? A person just one day, you know, you nice and then the next day you become terrible. You know what I mean? Ja Rule still is Ja Rule. It's just, again, the things that surrounded him, you know what I'm saying, I think it pushed a lot of people away. You know what I'm saying? Because they're like, yo, these guys, you know, it's record labels and all that. People think those guys are involved in some serious business. You know what I mean? Even Ashanti stepped away. You know what I'm saying? So I think the industry as a whole, whether or not they wanted to say it or not, you know what I'm saying, on a very real level, I think that there was like some form of silent boycott of Ja Rule in a very real way. You know what I'm saying? I believe that on a real level, you know what I'm saying, people was not really rocking with Ja Rule, not because of like, yo, the cat ain't nice anymore or whatever, but because of the seriousness of what was going on with him. You know what I'm saying? The beef with 50 and the issues with his record label, they were like, nah, bro, I don't think I want that smoke. You know what I'm saying? So as a result of that, it affected his career in a major way. Not saying that Ja Rule's out here starving, because he's still booking shows, last 15 years, still doing his thing. You know what I mean? Still getting money. The money never gonna stop. The guy have hits. You'll forever be able to tour this, even if it's just to pack a small audience. There's always gonna be a group of people that wants to hear Ja Rule, including me, because homeboy have hits, and it's never, you know what I'm saying? The numbers don't lie. You know what I mean? There was a time that Ja Rule had these streets on fire, and the streets remember. People remember. They're never gonna forget him, and he's always gonna be around. You know what I'm saying? It's just that, you know what I mean, with what happened in the past, he wasn't able to, you know, come back out and do whatever he gotta do. And the funny thing is, I think with the proper management right now and the proper etiquette and the proper people around him, he could be out here doing his thing. Yeah, he could come back with some hits. Because again, it's not that his pen got soft or whatever. You know what I mean? I don't think so. I think it was like other issues that really, you know, messed with his career. You know what I mean? Vice versa. Fat Joe, Don Cartagena, like Fat Joe has just been I don't want to say untouchable, right? Because, you know, he been to jail for tax problems or whatever, but musically, you know, he has just been untouchable in a very real way. You know what I mean? You cannot list a decade or a time period when Fat Joe wasn't out in these streets. And the thing with Joey Crack now, okay, the big difference, I think this was the big difference that separated Fat Joe from Ja Rule, is that when you think about it, Ja Rule never had any protege to come out after him, or anybody that came out that was hitting hard under Ja Rule. Vice versa, Joe Crack had a monster. Something that the streets didn't see coming. You know what I'm saying? And that monster, God, that monster was DJ Khaled. You know what I'm saying? What are you gonna do with that? How can you compete? How can you compete with DJ Khaled? How? It's not possible. You know what I'm saying? Khaled is and was and always will be a monster. Okay? And because of that, okay, Crack, the streets was never able to forget about, you know, Fat Joe. And after Khaled came out and would start making all these hits after hits, and he was part of Terror Squad and everything like that, it reworked itself. So Joe Crack had his connections, and because people are messing with him, messing with Khaled, people felt even more comfortable messing with Joe Crack. You know what I mean? And it all worked itself out. Where, you know what I'm saying, Crack was able, you know what I'm saying, to do magnificent for himself. You know what I mean? To the point now where he's a certified icon in these streets. You know what I mean? And this, okay, this has been the major difference between Ja Rule and Fat Joe's career. Major difference. All right? Joe Crack had people that came behind him, you know what I'm saying, that was able to keep him relevant in these streets. Okay? That he built connections, and there wasn't that silent boycott like what Ja Rule got. You know what I'm saying? And for somebody that's been in the industry, from an outsider perspective, you know what I mean? I'm pure outsiders. There's a pure outsider perspective and how I see how the music business run. You know what I mean? The major difference was that Crack never got that boycott that Ja Rule got. You know what I mean? And it affected their careers differently. But all in all, man, the good news is that these cats is out here. They're alive. You know what I'm saying? Ja Rule looks more healthier than ever. You know what I'm saying? Guy was ripped on stage. Joe Crack, you know what I'm saying? He lost weight. He's taking care of himself. And everybody out here making the money, getting the bag. You know what I'm saying? Nobody got to be in the streets killing niggas and doing all these crazy stuff. The biggest beef that they got is with a microphone. And that's it. And that's a win. You know what I mean? So music won, the fans won, and everybody won last night. You know what I mean? And that's my humble opinion about the Verzuz battle between Joe Crack and Ja Rule. I can't wait to hear what Fat Joe is gonna say about that, about the Verzuz battle. You know what I mean? Yeah, we out.